Buongiorno. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. I don't think today's guest needs much of an introduction, but for those who are new to the podcast and living outside of Norfolk County, today's first returning guest is Mayor Amy Martin. Amy is focused on the public and the interests of the municipality at large, drafting sound policies for long-term strategic needs. I've been lucky enough to call Amy a friend for some time now. Initially meeting her in the wedding industry and then later creating content for her Port Dover and Norfolk County campaigns. Today's episode is a bit shorter than usual, but very informative. Amy, thanks again for taking the time to come on. Now, here's today's cocktail, and it's a good one.
It sure is. This one is for the Swifties. Introducing the Lavender Haze. First step is to make your lavender simple syrup. A 1-to-1 ratio of sugar and water, and a healthy amount of lavender. We'll let you be the judge. In a martini shaker, add an ounce of your lavender simple syrup, 2 ounces of Empress Gin specifically. We'll explain in a bit. Egg white and some ice. Shake well. Strain into a chilled coupe glass. Now here is where the magic happens. Add a ½ ounce of lemon juice, stir, and watch your blue cocktail turn into a lavender haze. Garnish with lavender and serve to your surprised guest. Now here is 2-time returning champ, Mayor Amy Martin.
Hey you, you're listening to Just Drew, Just Drew, Just Drew.
Well, welcome back on the pod, Amy.
Yay.
You're the first repeat guest. Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you.
I think the last
I'm
time it
honored.
was April. It was before we posted. I think we recorded it. We did the first
It
5.
was whenever the home builder show was, because that's what I was doing after. Or before.
Yeah. You were
So
like
it was the
this
spring, for
second
sure.
or third guest.
I was second. Second.
There you go.
I remember that because I also have a folk fan button and I'm the 9th fan.
Okay.
Second podcast guest.
Yeah, you're still up. You're like,
Top 10.
it's you and Eric and Ash's episode just keep shifting.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It keeps.
For top views?
Yeah.
Okay, good to know. I'll
So
just
you could
put
be
out
first or second today. I'm not sure.
Okay, and I might just put that out on my socials to make sure I
Yeah.
get a quick bump.
So you just came from Ottawa.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were you doing there?
Ottawa, okay, first I have to preface it with this.
Do you want to just pull that mic a bit closer?
Do. I love home. Is that okay?
Yeah.
I love home and I leave and I'm always like eager to return.
Mm-hmm.
Ottawa, despite really being nothing like Norfolk County, I love. Like I think I could live in Ottawa and I don't think there's another place that I have visited or traveled to that I've said that before. Like it's always nice to visit, but always great to come home.
Okay.
I love Ottawa. It just has like really good, history and heritage with the buildings and the culture and the community and the buzz of politics. But yeah, it was the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, which we just call the AMO conference. We have 2 big conferences every year. We have ROMA, Rural Ontario, in January in Toronto, and then AMO in Ottawa or London annually. And you meet up with 443 other municipalities. And we meet with ministers and provincial ministry staff to talk about kind of the top priorities facing the county.
When you were here last, you talked about almost like this. It's set up like speed dating almost.
Yeah.
Is that what you do there?
Yep. You
Okay.
apply for your meetings. You ask to get in with the different ministries before you go. You
Okay.
receive approval like the week before, a couple days before. They're always changing the schedule. And then, at 1:15, you're with this minister for 15 minutes. And then at, 2 o'clock, you're down the hallway with this minister for 15 minutes. Really fast, really high level, but closed door, just you, the minister, and the staff, and you have this really good candid conversation that's kind of
There's no eyeballs on you,
right.
which takes the pressure off.
And on them, I think,
Yeah.
to give a good answer.
Yeah.
Or, hey, this is what we're working on. And
Or just don't be afraid to be like, do they ever say we don't know? I feel like a lot of politicians are afraid to say that.
yeah, I don't think I've ever heard that. I mean, when we talked about it on the last podcast too, the gas well, they will say that they don't know what the best fix is. Like that, this is a pretty unprecedented issue, the gas wells. But they're committed to finding a solution. You get kind of that run around. But no, they don't usually say we don't know. They're usually working on something. There's a direction they're going, but they're juggling 7 other balls at the same time. And so,
Yeah. And How many municipalities would you say? 443?
444 in Ontario. We are one. So
That's-
every time we bring an issue to them, every time we ask for money, it's a lottery. 1 in 444 chance.
So who did you talk to this time?
Oh my gosh, we talked to everyone. Health, natural resources, solicitor general, attorney general, municipal affairs. We're later on today. We're going to talk to environment. Pretty well.
Yeah,
most of the
across the
ministries.
board.
Yep, we'll take whatever we can get. Finance, Ministry of Finance.
Was there any particular one that you were really looking forward to?
Yes, municipal affairs.
Okay.
And housing. It's just such a broad portfolio. So many things that we do run through that. Like the municipality is a creature of the province. So our legislation, our planning, our finances, it all comes through municipal affairs and housing. So if you ever want to kind of tweak something or you're banging your head up against the wall in the municipality, that's who you want to go to say, hey, have you considered this? So the planning documents that we use when we approve development files comes from that department. Housing. But the Municipal Act itself can be amended through that department. So that was pretty neat. And the last time we had a delegation with that ministry, it was a different minister, was under the former term of council with the former mayor. And do you remember the whole controversy over the item that was given to a provincial minister?
I don't. Do you want to talk about it?
It was a sandwich. Do you remember
No.
hearing about that in the news?
Maybe.
I want to hear about it right now, though, please. Or
Can I? Is
Yeah.
it like the shit sandwich?
The shit
Okay.
sandwich.
Okay.
what?
Okay. Yeah, I do know about that.
That's a real thing that happened?
Yeah. So that was the last time we received a delegation with the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, and the former mayor slid a piece of paper across the table, and it was a cartoon image
Okay.
Okay.
of a shit sandwich.
Okay.
So not an actual.
No.
Okay.
What was the purpose behind that?
That was the raw deal that Norfolk had received.
I see. So-
Like, we're in the middle of just a shit sandwich.
Got it.
So all of that to say, several years later, we landed a delegation, new minister now. So great to start a new relationship, turn a fresh page. And I was most excited about that. And then health, I think. We talked about the potential new hospital, hospice joining Norfolk County.
A new hospital here in the county?
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
Let's get it done,
That's kind of huge.
Yeah, so it's a provincial portfolio issue. It's not a municipal issue. We would contribute to it. We would champion it along. But recently, council did our urban boundary expansion. I don't know if you've heard about this on social media. It's been
No.
everywhere. Long story short, municipalities have to produce a plan how we're going to grow for the next 25 years. We have been Norfolk County for 23 years. We separated from Haldimand County 23 years ago, and we've always had enough land to grow to meet what our growth projections were going to be. So by 2050 something, we plan on being around 90,000, a population of 90,000. We're 70 now. So to be able to meet that,
What was that year? 2050?
it'll be around 2051
Okay.
if everything happens the way it should.
Okay.
But that's not always the case. It might be 2060. You never know. But
Yeah.
anyways, we put the plan together to demonstrate where and how we were going to grow, a little bit in Waterford, a little bit in Delhi, a little bit, where there's infrastructure. And we put some land aside in Simcoe and have preliminarily zoned it as institutional. And we're working on a deal with the hospital to get a new hospital. We could add in our health unit there. We could put in a helicopter pad.
Cool.
We could add in hospice care if we
Okay.
get enough land to separate those two out and
Yeah.
have this amazing campus of care. Put Fanshawe College in there, do some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
So we've been banging on the province's door for that. They would need to fund the hospital.
Well, and what I think of is boomers are getting older, and that's the biggest generation we have. And, they're going to need more medical care as they get older.
I think we have to attract physicians to the area, and you're not
Yeah.
going to do that with a hospital that has the newest part of that hospital is 40 years old.
Wow.
The newest part
that's
of Norfolk
old.
General Hospital. So we recently toured it, and not only is it old, they've had floods in there. They don't have air conditioning, so they have individual AC units in some of the windows in that hospital. They have had wastewater floods. There are portions of the hospital that are so old, they're just kind of shut down and condemned.
Well,
right
even
now.
well, I had my cousins Vanessa and Rachel on their nurses in Hamilton, but one of them did a placement in Simcoe, and she said the same system that's being used at Simcoe is on paper, and the system she uses in Hamilton is electronic.
There you go.
And she said there's more errors because reading handwriting and things like that, and I think doctors are notoriously bad
Yes.
for their signatures and writing, so
Yeah.
things
So I
can be
think,
skewed.
we can always do better with healthcare, but imagine with a growing population.
Yeah, you'll need it.
And you know what? One of them, it was a parliamentary assistant at the Ministry of Health at a previous conference had said to me, she's kind of looking through her notes, and she goes, "Oh my gosh, that we're spending $5 million a year to keep the hospital open in capital repairs there. Like, you guys are due." So I don't know what their criteria is, but whatever that threshold is that's acceptable to spend in capital repairs on a hospital, we were spending, Norfolk General Hospital and the province is spending way over that annually. So we're really excited about that, and I think it'll help. It'll help us attract new physicians to come and work, new pharmacists, new nursing professionals. So
I was there last week with some chest pain. It was fine, just muscular, but I didn't know, so I was like, okay, I better go get checked. But I got all the tests within an hour, and then I had to wait 4 hours because there was one physician, and they were just busy with more serious people,
Yeah.
serious injuries. So I got there at like 9:30. I didn't get out till 4 in the morning.
wow.
And then had to go and work in Toronto the next day. So
Yeah.
Sadly, I think that's a lot of ERs across Ontario. I don't know that like our timing is better or worse,
yeah.
but that physician might have just been drop in for the day or
Yeah, I think what they ended up doing was calling a second one.
Crazy.
They came. But the doctor's amazing, super professional, very nice.
such
very
good
nice
nursing
guy.
staff there too.
Yes. Yeah.
We're lucky.
They were awesome.
So yeah, that's like couple really good legacy projects, long-term projects for the county.
Yeah.
That it's about time. I think I always say this, but on a high level, we are having money spent all around us in Ontario. There are so many funding announcements happening. There's like 3 or 4 hospitals and like 7 or 8 refurbishments and new like mental health wings and stuff like that being added in across Ontario, and we are getting nothing. Same goes for wastewater. Same goes for various investments in infrastructure.
Yeah.
Like it's I know it's all our tax dollar and people want it spent wisely, but like it has been spent around us for years, for 23 years to be exact. We need to bring some of that home. So if I had to pick something like water and wastewater, and then hospital.
And is
Top
that up
priority.
to our municipality? Is our taxes alone staying here, and that's what's going towards these things, or is it provincial funding? How does-
Both.
Bit of both?
So our taxes will stay here locally. We
Okay.
collect them. We build out a budget. It's a 10-year budget, and we know what we're going to work on and what we're going to fund. Is it new water infrastructure, new roads, new bridges, repairs? We do all of that. So we know what's coming in the next 10 years. Something like a hospital, though, the province will contribute to. They only pay for capital. So everything that goes into a hospital, every bed sheet, every pen a nurse needs, like every computer, that is not paid for by the province. They're paying for capital. They're paying for that brick and mortar building to be built. And then the rest comes from fundraising and a municipal contribution. So,
and that goes for every municipality?
yeah.
Okay.
And I'm sure that funding model's changed over the years, but right now that's the current setup. They pay for capital only. So again, you want a new hospital, you work with your hospital, you get the lands ready, you develop the plan, and then that hospital will go and they'll submit a capital submission to the province. And then the province will go, is it worth it? Is it new enough? How many people will it serve? What's their population size? Where else have we already given money out of this fund to? So you're competing against, at this point, probably 250 other communities.
Yeah, for that pool of money.
There's 444, but let's say a couple of them already have hospitals, a couple of them are good. So it's very competitive.
And what's your competitive angle? Like, can they be persuaded, or is it really not up to us? It's just like they're looking at statistics.
I think our competitive angle, I always like to produce a business case to sway them.
Yeah.
Since I've been on council for 6 years, we've raised property taxes more than 30%. We've raised water rates significantly. And in the next 10 years, we're going to raise everything again. Like in the next 10 years, water rates will increase 160%. So that means if the average residential water bill in Norfolk County is $1,500 a year, that bill will now be $4,000. Bless you.
Thank you.
Bless your soul.
Thank you, guys.
Bless your soul. That's nice.
I needed that.
That means your water bill is going up to $4,000 a year. That's insane. That is very high.
Yeah.
Then take that number and extrapolate that over to a commercial business. So say now you're Derek DeMeyer and you're washing cars on your car dealership. So
everything goes up. He would have to increase prices.
right.
Yeah.
It's all cyclical, right? So I demonstrate that. Then I demonstrate the cuts and what we've done as a municipality to not just tax, raise. Well, we've closed museums and facilities, Teeterville. We're looking at expansion and consolidating a rec master plan. Does that mean additional closures? We've laid off staff. Snow removal services are at a provincial minimum. We do the bare minimum legislated requirement. We have temporarily closed and waste management sites. We charge in dog parks. We charge in our marinas. We charge, all of these things that we've done to try to recuperate costs and recover. You demonstrate that and you show where that like cost benefit analysis comes in on how much people are paying versus what they're still expected to pay in the long run. And then I go ahead and I itemize like what's happening around us and why it's our share. That being said, I wouldn't go and bang on the province's door right now and say we need help for new recreation, which I would love to do for the record. That's how I started in politics, advocating for rec. But I wouldn't because it's a bad business case when you go to the province and say we need water and wastewater funding and a new hospital. You can't have it all. And so we need to...
Where do you want to prioritize?
That's right.
Yeah.
So build out that business case. Show them how expensive it is for, Ontario residents, Norfolk County residents, and then build on the rural business case. You look at all the investment happening around us, St. Thomas, Stellantis, PowerCo, all of those jobs. Those people need places to live. We can build the housing if they support us with water or wastewater infrastructure. And so, being a partner with the government, doing our part, leaning into their other investments around us, that's proven to be beneficial.
When you were talking to the previous Haldimand mayor, and he was saying how when they split, Haldimand has all the commercial taxes because they have Stelco, they have not so much here. It's predominantly agriculture, I would say.
Yeah.
Like we have the ice cream. I'm blanking on the name.
Briars.
And
Toyotetsu.
Yeah, Toyotetsu, but like really like
Toyotetsu, NGH, Norfolk County. Top employers in Norfolk.
Commercial.
Briars.
Yeah.
And then, maybe Scotland, get into Titan Trailers, some of the other
ones. Oh, yeah,
but,
Scotland. Yeah.
But you're right. Like, there's not a lot of commercial or industrial happening here. And so I'm going to plug my own podcast.
Do it.
I started a podcast, and I wouldn't have a podcast if it wasn't for Drew.
Aww.
Troubleshooting all my late night text messages.
I appreciate that.
But so my podcast, I did a 2-part series. There was 23 years ago, a transition board. We were Haldimand-Norfolk, one municipality. We separated into Haldimand only, Norfolk only. And on that transition board, there was a Haldimand County councillor, Bernie Corbett, and a Norfolk County councillor, Linda Van Andrieschi, we're in her ward right now.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, she's a part of the hockey arena. And yeah. Okay, I listened to that.
So long story short, the province wanted them to separate. They put this committee together. How are you going to separate? Who gets what goes where? What about the reserves? How much money you have in the bank? Who gets it? And at the bottom line was all of that industrial base in Nanacoke stayed in Haldimand County because they thought Norfolk County would be successful enough with our agricultural tax base to carry us. We were slightly larger, had a larger population, and we had the ag tax base and, a lot of tobacco still happening then, not as much. But so it just kind of was like a line in the sand was drawn, and that's the history on that. It's as simple as that.
What was the push to do it initially?
I'm told, I could be wrong, but from what I've gathered between talking to them and a few other community members, former MPP Toby Barrett pushed for this, and it was kind of a Norfolk-led initiative. I think Norfolk County members felt like they were maybe carrying some of Haldimand County. Again, smaller population, so more tax dollars were going Haldimand way. I'm not entirely sure, but Toby Barrett started a petition on that and leveraged it with the provincial ministries, and then they got on board, and the rest is history.
Because when I lived in Dover, the water tower
Yeah.
still says Haldimand-Norfolk.
So
I'm
does
like,
Caledonia's.
okay.
Yep.
Like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like, I forgot about that.
And people say to us, like, we're talking about that big interurban water plan. We talked about it last time. $450 million to bring water through all of Norfolk County. We will be drawing that water, if that plan goes ahead, out of Nanacoke. So people will say, well, at this rate, just leave Haldimand-Norfolk on the water tower. Don't bother painting over it now because it'll be Haldimand County water.
Just keep.
Just leave it.
Yeah, I
So-
was listening because, I forget his name, the previous Haldimand mayor. He was working on a water plan like back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was Bernie Corbett.
Bernie
and
Corbett,
He was,
okay.
I think you're right. He was like a mayor of maybe Dunnville
Was it Dunnville?
prior to, and then he sat on as a Haldimand County councillor when they became
For the split.
yeah.
Yeah.
So regional government, you would have. Well, I brought this fancy dancy
Yeah,
thing.
we'll talk about that.
Oh.
So you see on it, it says Township of Delhi, Township of Nanacoke.
Yeah.
They would have had a mayor and a council, those townships prior to being Norfolk County. And then they would have gone up and sent a representative or a mayor to go sit on the Norfolk County
I see.
table,
Okay.
which was in Nanacoke at the time. So Bernie would have been the mayor of Dunnville Township. Anyways, he joined on and was a Haldimand County councillor for, gosh, I think it was like 20 some odd years as the councillor
Yeah, he
for
said
Dunnville.
6 terms, I
Yeah.
think he said. That's a lot. That's a long time.
24.
That's a very long time.
Yeah. So a lot of historic knowledge with that, but then he was also on that transition board. And so, yeah, it's a project that's been ongoing for many, many years. And really that water project that we're working on, it did start many years ago because the government of the day gave Haldimand County a license to withdraw X number of cubic meters of water a day out of Lake Erie. The biggest part about water is getting the province to give you that license to draw the water in. They gave them an intake pipe that was gigantic, that plant in Nanacoke is commissioned to bring water all the way through to Kitchener-Cambridge Waterloo.
Oh, really?
Yes, it's one of the largest in Ontario. It was retrofitted in that way. It has a license to pull that much water. It's unheard of. So the plan was always to have this regional water system,
Yeah.
30 some odd years ago, but it just never happened.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All the way to Kitchener.
Yeah, isn't that wild?
Yeah, I guess. Well, we have all the Great Lakes here. It's the main source of water. I know we have the Grand River, and there's a lot of underground water, like especially around here.
It's lavender.
Lavender. Oh yeah, don't swallow that. It's just it looks too good not to garnish it with it. So
Shout out.
yeah, lavender haze. I'm really impressed by the color.
It's beautiful.
That was
Very
the color I was going to, and I didn't know what it was going to change to once I added the lemon juice. So
You nailed it.
could have went pink, but it was perfect.
Meant to be. You nailed
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and plus your podcast is folklore and T Swift fan, and
I wish that I could take like a strategic credit for that. I knew I had a podcast. I didn't know the name that I wanted. Or sorry, I knew I liked folklore. I had a couple other ideas like in the folk or instead of in the know, and was messing around with it. And then I didn't know when I was going to launch the podcast. But then I decided based on how many I had recorded that I would launch it on that particular week. And that was the week that Taylor's album came out. And
There
I
you
was
go.
like, okay, well, like that's meant to be. I have to do it on this week. And
Yeah.
you would not believe the amount of people who've said to me they found my podcast searching for Taylor Swift.
really.
Whoa.
I had the mayor of Wilmot Township
Marketing
said
genius.
she had no idea. She was on Spotify searching for Taylor Swift.
Okay.
And then I popped up and she's a municipal mayor.
Okay.
So she's listened.
That's really cool.
I know.
So, wow, I'll just listen to this
Yeah.
instead.
Folklore.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Yeah, I listened to a bunch of your episodes. It sounds really good.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I know you're not like super techie and things like that, but like I think it's great.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
you're doing a good job.
I did buy a couple of mics. I upgraded the mics, and then
Nice.
I bought. This is a cool setup, but I bought a software system that kind
Yeah.
of scrubs it. I actually got in trouble on social media. People were giving me a hard time saying that I was using a podcast to further my platform and that I'd be making money on my podcast. Maybe you want to tell people how you make money on a podcast.
You don't.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
You don't.
I after I read that, I just, you have to, it's a fine line between standing up for yourself when people give you a hard time online and having a sense of humor to keep you sane, but not being a jerk, right? It's a really fine line. And so I started my next podcast after I read that, which was all about water, wastewater infrastructure. And I said, did you brush your teeth this morning? Did you flush the toilet this morning? And then I said, no, I'm not sponsored by Colgate yet. That person still repped on me because, it's such a long, ridiculous road to get money on a podcast or find sponsorship, or that's not what this is about.
Yeah, like my main goal was just to connect with people and just kind of reconnect with my network and a lot of people I don't talk to in a while. It's a good excuse to get together, catch up, and talk about some cool things.
Yeah.
If it makes money, great.
Yeah.
But if not, like I'm still going to do it. It's not the purpose of it.
Speaking of connecting, I'm not fully done, but I listened to half of your last podcast. It was all on, politics and what's happening in the States. And I really liked it because I don't have time to read the news. I read local news, but I'm truthfully out of date on what's happening like around the county. I just don't have the time and the bandwidth for it. And so it was really neat to like get in a little update on what's happening in the States and some of the like psychology behind, the personalities. And it was really neat.
Yeah, that's his full-time professional job is just focus on this and teach it to students. So he deep dives.
And I was chatting with someone after I listened to it. I was chatting with a municipal lawyer, and they said they were getting ready to retire, and they said they will not miss any Zoom court hearings. Like they're so happy to be out of that. And I said, I was just listening to a podcast, and he spoke about in-person lectures versus virtual and commanding a room in the theater and raising your voice and how you don't have that luxury when you're virtual. So, but he has a good radio voice too.
He has an amazing voice.
Yeah, he was easy to listen to.
Yeah, and I wonder if he's improved on that over lecturing, which I'm sure it's helped a lot, but he's got a very booming, deep voice and he's very articulate and yeah, I could listen to him for a long time.
Similar to Drew, really.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I've gotten some comments on our podcast.
Really?
But yeah, I think mine's a little too high pitch.
Oh.
I think you sound beautiful.
Yeah. I wish it was a little bit deeper.
Oh.
But
Have you guys tried to harmonize?
no, hit the same octave. There we go.
That was
I think we just did. That was fucking.
Yeah, we do have a flow now that I really enjoy. So
It's a little quieter over here today, but
Why
that's
is
all right.
that?
Yeah, what happened, Drew?
party rocking.
Party
A
rocking.
little bit too much.
Wow,
Sometimes you just gotta party rock
Yeah.
All right.
until
see
6
you.
in the morning.
Sometimes you got to
6
search.
in the morning. I've never done that in
6?
my life.
6. Well, it was
Never in my not even in university. I sleep is king. Never in my life have I pulled an all-nighter.
It was a really fun time.
I've done a few of those, but it really messes you up because now your whole circadian rhythm is just off.
No, I'm great.
I'm going up the stairs. I'm like, okay, I'll make you coffee before Amy comes here. He's like, hey, do you want a strong coffee? He goes, yep.
Yeah.
It was delicious. I got in on the coffee train.
It was really good. Yeah, you always have really
Full
good
service
coffee.
here.
Yeah, mostly Altitude. Shout out to Altitude Coffee.
Okay,
But
yep.
there's this brand that is made by Bob Marley's estate. And I think it's called Marley Coffee.
I think my brother-in-law Greg.
Okay, found it at the grocery store. Ashley loves it. I love it. So I've been buying a lot of Marley Coffee. It's just smooth. It's rich. I love it.
Now let's talk about grocery shopping because
Okay.
I have cracked the code. It's not going to work for you. It'll probably work for you.
Bummer.
Weird. What?
Superstore has an app, the PC app. I can get my groceries brought to my house.
Oh, what?
Shit.
Yes. Let
Yeah.
me tell you, as a municipal mayor, and my husband as well, he's front and center in the
Shift worker
yeah,
and
in the media.
yeah,
and,
in the media.
and
Yeah.
So sometimes we'll rock paper scissors, like who's going to go in for the bag of milk or whatever you need.
Because you're gonna run into someone.
Always.
Yeah.
Which, it's nice.
It's fine.
But like sometimes you don't want to do your makeup or sometimes you don't want to you got stuff on the stove. And anyways, it comes to my door. It comes to the door. I just paid, I think it was $12 for the year for unlimited.
What?
What?
Unlimited. It was a deal. I think now it's truthfully like $100 for the
I would
year,
pay
which
a
I would
lot. I would
still
pay that.
Right?
For unlimited
And it's unlimited.
delivery.
Like what? So then you go on, you schedule. I can get a delivery probably tonight by like 9 o'clock.
Oh my god.
If not tomorrow, first thing in the morning.
Super cool.
The closest one is theirs in
Yeah.
Tilsonburg. So that's 20 minutes. I don't know. Maybe
Well,
too
I mean,
far.
Simcoe to Dover still's 12,
I'm
15.
going to look into that.
My mom is downtown Port Dover, can't get it. I can.
Really?
I'm kind of on the outskirts,
Oh.
so I think it's just easy and quick for them to run in and out.
I see.
What a game changer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'll do the one if I'm in a rush, like order it and they bring it to your car.
Okay. Yeah.
You have a half-hour gap. You show up, boom, they put it in your trunk, you take off.
Yep.
Which is very
Oh,
convenient.
I did
I've
that
never
in
tried
COVID.
either.
I did that a lot during COVID.
Yeah. Me too.
But I still do it here and there. If I'm just like, running around doing folk deliveries, I'll just,
Yep.
like a quick pit stop on F1 Racing. Just,
You still do that? Folk deliveries? You bring them
Oh,
to
yeah.
the stores?
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm the delivery guy. And we still get a lot of deliveries right to people's houses.
Oh, you do?
We have it for a fee within the county for $10. We do Tilsonburg as well because we have a store there,
Okay. Where?
Betty's Marketplace,
Okay.
right on the main drag.
I recently got a little folk t-shirt from
Okay.
you guys, and Ash brought it to Norfolk Juice Co.
That was me.
Oh, it was you.
That was me.
Oh, I'm giving her the credit.
Yeah. Well,
Because-
she organized it.
Our CAO had his first granddaughter,
Mm-hmm.
and the grandbaby lives in Toronto.
Okay.
Well, we couldn't have that.
No.
She's,
Got to represent.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little big for her still, but soon she'll be in it.
That's right.
That's my favorite gift. If someone's having a baby, like, that's my favorite gift. It's so perfectly Norfolk. No one's gonna bring something like that to a baby shower, to whatever. Like, it's just such a good mayor gift.
Yeah. And I'm really trying to like figure out with the other two, just like for youth clothing, but it's very hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to source. It's hard to source like Canadian made because that's kind of like our prerequisite. It's just it has to be made here.
Yeah, I get that.
So yeah,
I feel
working
that.
on it. Plus that doubles the workload because now you're doing one design on two different sizes, two
Oh.
different things. So it doubles everything. Yeah. Down the road. We're working on it.
Yeah. Too late now. You're already invested, and we've all bought in. So keep
We
it
got
coming.
two new exciting things coming out for
Really?
the fair though. So yeah.
Oh.
Bunch of things actually.
So wait, if we
love the
do this
fair.
and it comes out in a couple of weeks, we'll be into September.
Yeah, end of
so
September.
like a tease. Give a fair teaser. There's
We have
only
a
one of you
new
here.
beer coming out with a brewery we haven't collabed with yet.
Really
Wow.
interesting.
Yeah,
I've enjoyed all your beers.
Yeah.
The maple one, the seltzer.
yeah.
Great.
The Sunny's Folk Seltzer is so good.
Yeah.
It's still like
Raspberry
selling,
one?
isn't
The
it?
raspberry one, yes.
So good.
It's still like they
Yep.
still make it.
Yeah,
don't
they make it all the time. Yeah, it's like they're one of the top sellers I think during the fair.
What about
It's
like
just-
some like beer glasses? Like, what about like, let's just expand the brand here. You know, I want
Yeah,
beach towels
over time.
Beach
Yeah.
umbrellas.
How many times have you been asked for beach towels?
We definitely have not been talking about beach towels, right, Eric and Ashley?
That's weird.
That's weird.
I
Why
think
would
I
we talk
asked-
about that?
I think I asked for them in my podcast. So if so,
That definitely wasn't the
insert-
reason we've been talking about it.
insert
allegedly.
that clip. And you know what else? I know Sarita influenced the red T-shirt. The I think it's like the Folk
Like
and A
the
one.
Folk and A.
Or she says she did, anyways. But I was told that I influenced the brown dad cap,
Oh, okay.
and now I can't get it from you guys because mine's all sunburnt and
We have some dad caps still. We do sell the
in the
dad
brown.
hats.
In the brown.
Maybe. We're ordering a bunch for the fair, so I'm sure he'll get a bunch of different colors. But
If you get them back, I'm available to model them on the website.
okay, good to know.
For a small fee of
So-
one dad cap.
So you like the dad caps
Oh,
specific? Okay.
that's the only cap.
Okay.
That's it for me. Period.
right.
End of story.
I don't wear baseball caps. Period. So toques I can wear.
I don't. Oh, well, that's true. Toque.
Yeah.
I do the toque as
bucket
well.
hat.
I haven't dabbled in the bucket hat. I should, but no, it's the hat for me. It's just like on after yoga, like you're in the grocery store if I have to. That's the one. Yeah.
Sunglasses.
Yeah.
Um.
Okay, this is exciting. Stay tuned.
Yeah. And now you said you had something
Yeah, I want to hear
that
about
you
this.
wanted to
What?
share. Remember?
That's weird. Well, by the time this airs, so okay,
You
so
should be in the clear.
I'll preface this.
Yeah.
You are the first people
Whoa. To
that
know?
that is going to know that will know this.
Oh my god.
I
So
feel very special. right now,
privileged.
yeah.
So by the time it comes out, it won't be you won't be breaking it, but you are the first people.
live,
to
if we're
know.
live right
Okay.
now.
Yeah.
lips sealed until then.
Norfolk County has been successful in receiving water and wastewater funding for our project we've been working on. and it is the largest amount in Norfolk County's history
Whoa.
that
Whoa.
we've ever received. And it is $16.5 million
Okay.
So much money.
going into our wastewater in Port Dover. So we're going to unlock all the development in Port Dover, match water to wastewater, be able to develop until like 2030. But it's actually a project that we were going to take out debt for. And because we don't have to take out that much debt on it, the 16.5 million actually, I know it's exciting.
Sorry, I was trying not to distract you with the cat.
The
He's
16.5 is actually 24 million. If that was put on the property taxes, that would be 24% increase.
Well,
so when does this when do you get this money?
Anytime now.
Okay.
I'm going to announce it with council and staff later on this week.
Yeah.
So breaking news, you're first to know.
Wow.
big congrats.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's
that's
just
awesome.
like I know it's not that juicy for like the average Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's so mad.
He gets I'm sorry to distract you. He gets sassy sometimes, but I can't.
He just wants to kill you sometimes, I think.
He's just vicious.
Crazy.
Is he upset about the length of his legs?
I know.
Oh, he's...
Don't even think about it, buddy.
Afraid to turn your head away from him. Last time he kind of tried to pull this with me, and now that I know the extent of it,
You're more nervous?
yes, I'm glad that it's focused on his father.
Also, it is almost 2 o'clock. It's 2
Okay.
o'clock.
All right. What have we talked about? So that's a huge.
Okay. It's just really exciting. I know
that's a
that
huge
it doesn't
announcement.
like make people jump up and down, but really it should. Well, we talked about those water rates increases. Like again, 444 municipalities. It's about dang time, and I'm going to keep banging on the door. We're going to keep bringing home money. It is unprecedented for Norfolk. The most amount that we've received was $4.1 million in 2019 for the causeway. And
Okay.
then there was a $10 million transfer payment that went to Indwell that helped out with the municipal contribution. It didn't come through us, and it was a joint submission. So 16.5 million is it's crazy. Like like London just got 20 million yesterday. Bless your soul.
For the similar thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like we've really been banging that door, working hard, trying to compete with the big urban centers. So London can pull in 21 million. Norfolk just pulled in 16.5. And that's the stuff that's going to make housing more affordable for our generation. Like,
Okay.
you know,
That's another thick topic we don't have time to tap into, but
we can quickly. More houses are coming. We got to bring down affordability so everyone can afford to buy a house and stay in Norfolk County, including not just our generation, but like our parents who might want to downsize, or grandparents who have lived here their whole lives, can't afford to sell their current home because they can't find anything for less than that value. So we're going to build more houses. We're going to do it in a Norfolk County way. It's not going to be like the GTA, but the more inventory we create, the lower the housing prices will be. And we're going to work on our planning and building department to bring those costs down so they're not passed on to homeowners. We're going to push for transit so that maybe some of the newcomers are coming in will have one car instead of two. So, you know, less space requirements on the front of the house, less property, cheaper price. We're going to do all the things that we can. And I know that there's a big narrative out there to not grow and not change in Norfolk. The reality is we're not growing like the GTA. We're not, period, end of story. We have plans and policies in place that will allow us to grow in a way that meets our community's needs, 4 stories, 6 stories, not 12, not 20. So fear not, community members, but
we need people. And like you said, 2050, 2060, that's 25, 30 years and 20,000 people. I feel like Hamilton, since I've left, has grown 100,000.
for sure.
Probably.
For
in
sure.
the last 7-8 years.
And that's the perfect storm. That's
Yeah.
if everything happens the way it's supposed to.
Yeah. And we need people. You need the municipality needs taxes and to pay for things. And
We
more
do.
people,
We
more
need-
taxes.
You look at the water situation, like we need more users on the water system to pay for
Yeah.
the infrastructure that we have coming and the debt. Otherwise, those bills will increase. Norfolk County has 70,000 people. 30 or 34,000 of them are on the rate bill, the water bill, because everyone else is on wells,
Yes.
like
as am
rural
I.
community members.
I just went from city water to well. So
Yeah. So
yeah.
that means you're not paying. Out here,
No.
you're just filling your well up.
Yep. I
He would like to harmonize with you too.
Wow, that was the longest meow I think I've ever heard. Can I send you
he's-
upstairs?
He's so mad at you, Dad.
I think it's because I'm ignoring him.
Maybe he doesn't like the Jen either.
No,
Hey.
he likes it.
You're really interrupting a great podcast here. And I know you want to be the star, but we can't have this.
He is the star.
I have a grumpy cat at home, but that is grumpy.
He's not normally like this. Just having a bad day.
It's the well water.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe he was up last night party rocking.
6 a.m.
Yeah, was he with you?
He could have been. I think I do remember him.
Yeah, mixed in the crowd there.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get you a coffee, buddy.
Reset.
Reset.
Oh.
Just like a sassy little
I
bite.
hope
Yeah,
that
it'll
was
get it. Just a sassy little bite. I'm just
I
going
like
to
'em.
stay very still so
Yeah.
we can squeeze the last 10 minutes out here.
Okay, what do you want to ask me?
I have a really important question about this beautiful piece
Yes.
I'm
of
ready.
bling.
Do you mind? Do you want to just hold this
Sure.
so the camera can get like a quick view and then you can put it back down if you want? What is this called?
This is the Norfolk County chain of office, sometimes referred to as chain of command. It is the chain of office is passed along to each and every mayor of Norfolk County, and it is made out of gold and little decals here. So this is Township of Norfolk, Township of Simcoe, City of Nanticoke, and Township of Delhi, which is all of our former townships that make up the municipality of Norfolk County.
Yeah.
So this sits in the office. I try to bring it out on occasion. I try to wear it for ceremonial things, new business opening.
Super cool.
You
And-
know, Simcoe Seals, Special Olympics, like
Yeah.
when we're celebrating something.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And Drew, you wanted to know how old it was, right?
Yeah, I want to know how old it is.
it's not that exciting. It's 23 years old because
That's
that's
it. Oh,
Norfolk
wow.
County's age.
I
Okay.
see.
And so there are older ones. So like I said, City of Nanticoke, Township of Delhi, those are all framed, not Delhi. They're all framed inside council chambers and mounted on the wall that the mayor of the townships had their own. And then they would come up to regional level government and make decisions on behalf of Norfolk County. So all of them are at Norfolk County Council chambers, with the exception of Township of Delhi, which is in the Delhi Museum.
Got it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is very cool looking.
I bring that around when I visit kids in the schools.
Yes, you were saying,
They like that.
but they want to wear it, but we were saying only mayors should wear it.
I think it's just like an ethics, like
Yes, I agree.
best practice. But I do encourage you to put your head here.
Okay, I might have to. I have to do that.
I'll do that, yeah.
Get a
Yeah.
little picture
Yeah.
of each.
But it's pretty neat.
Yeah, that's really
I try
cool.
to bring it out, like little things like having the public or classes come into council chambers, bringing this out to the schools, like just personalizing what the role is, letting them see a glimpse of stuff that they might not ever see before.
Mhm.
I won't be here for forever, so what can I do that gets people interested in municipal politics? You might not care about water or wastewater, but you care about housing costs, or your 10-year-old child might not care about any of it, but they thought that was really cool and they want to be the mayor one day.
Mhm.
What is that thing I can do to personalize municipal government for our community? And yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. What year are you on in your term?
This is my second year as
Second year.
mayor, 6th year altogether. So October will be 2 full years,
Wow.
a couple months.
Wow. Coming up.
Time flies.
Doesn't seem like that long, but
Yeah, so halfway.
yeah,
And
halfway.
then really, if you have a large turnover in your council, which is possible that it might happen again, you go into something called lame duck. So you're
Mhm.
not able to make decisions over a certain dollar value so that you don't handcuff the next council. So what it really does is kind of clamps down your term, makes it a little bit shorter. Within so many months of the next municipal election, you can't
Okay.
make decisions over X dollar value. So if that is the case, we could be kind of winding down this term within the next year. It doesn't change the election date, but it changes the amount of work and type of work that you do. So yeah,
Am I allowed to ask if you want to continue?
you can ask whatever you want and I'll just beat you up later.
Or we can save that.
Yeah.
You don't have
know
to tell
what?
us.
Well, I don't know is the answer. Truthfully, I don't know. Last go around, I decided in May when the papers opened. I really thought there was a lot of drama in the last term, and I thought I'm gonna make a run for it. And then I had applied for some jobs, and I wasn't landing anything. And I thought, well, I can either remove myself from the situation, or I can level up in the role and take on more responsibility and leave my other employment and make this full time for me, and work on some of the things that I'm passionate about without the drama. And so it was May when I decided to run. which is right down to the wire because you fill out your paperwork May and it needs to be in by June, I think. So that was a game time decision. Might be the same for me this time around, but I can say that whether it's, another term or not, that will probably be it for me.
If you do a second one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I do it at all. I think it's okay to have change and turnover. I think it's important to have someone who has some municipal experience take on the role of mayor. It's a lot to learn. It's a lot for someone to walk in off the street.
Yeah. So a ward member who's familiar with the process. And
in my opinion, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, a lot of people will say, I ran a business before. I've been a CEO before. I had a budget this size before. Great. None of that is transferable over to the municipal sector. None of it. Municipalities use a different accounting practice. They don't produce their financial reports or save for things in the same way that a business might. The public sector is just a slow moving process because there needs to be public consultation. There needs to be, checks and balances in place. Everything has to be done fairly, openly, transparent. So it moves slower than a private sector business would move. So it's just not transferable. And then there's the policy, and then how you host the meetings. And then there's your customer service, how you respond to the constituents. How do you work with a team? As mayor, I have one vote of 70,000 people, just the same way that Councillor Huffman in Waterford of 4,000 people has one vote. There's no additional influence. So you need to build your team to, find consensus with your council. So there's so many factors. You have to follow policy and legislation, and there's nothing like it.
how do you learn this? It's not like you can go to school. They don't teach this in school.
I went to a couple campaign schools when I first
Did
ran.
you? Okay.
It was more oriented around how to campaign, to be honest. So no, what I did to prepare was I read, Robert's Rules of Orders for Dummies, because I thought I'm going to embarrass myself when I go into my first council meeting. I don't know how to make a motion. I don't know how to second a motion, but I always say this to elected officials, no matter where, the best thing you can do is read your code of conduct, because when you go into council, you're new, you don't know what's going on. And a councillor says, yeah, no, I don't think that's right. We're going to debate this and argue over this. And all of a sudden you're losing on your motion. Had I read my code of conduct, I would have known that I could raise my hand, go through the chair and say, point of order. This person's not debating what the motion is actually about, and get yourself back on track. Like little tricks of the trade. If you know your code of conduct, that you could. The language, it's everything. Or, a really quick vote happened and you weren't sure if it was a win or lose, but whoever said, that vote won, they were on that side. And you're like, I'm not sure. Point of order. I'm going to challenge the chair. Let's have a recorded vote this time. So you have to individually say yes, no, yes, no. So little things that you can do that a seasoned politician who's been in a lot of meetings might know, but it's all in that code of conduct. So being savvy enough to keep up as a politician, but having enough empathy to understand what the community priorities are and how you're going to tackle them.
Yeah. And
Nothing like it.
Can't make everyone happy.
No.
Fortunately, so.
And I don't want to make you guys unhappy, but it is 2:10 now.
Is it 2:10?
You're very good at that
That's
job.
our hard.
Thank you for watching.
It's our hard stop.
It's been a slice.
Yeah, not super long, but thanks so much for taking the time and coming here. And
my pleasure. Thanks for having me, and I would love to have you guys join me on my podcast.
That would be sick.
Oh, that would be crazy.
We would love to.
Yeah, so we'll set that up, and whatever you guys need. I appreciate the platform to be able to connect with different people and different listeners, and I think what you're doing is awesome. I've really enjoyed.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I love learning.
Me too.
I like how diverse you guys are as well. I'm always thinking, what am I going to teach people about the municipal sector? But it's just yours is not. It's neat. I really like it.
Yeah, we're trying to mix
Have
it
fun.
up. Yeah, all sorts of stuff.
And
Funsies.
there's your cat. That's a whole other level that I can't offer.
He put on a show today.
We could bring him when we come to your pod.
Yeah, try putting him in a car.
Oh, no, thank you.
Yeah, if you think he's bad now.
I think you're coming back to life.
I'm okay now.
It's nice to see you.
Nice to see you as well.
All right,
you, guys.
thanks everybody.
Cheers.